Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Summer Story Station. This week we'll be going over more of the exciting things that we've seen this summer. Things like old-fashioned cars, swimming pools, and fire pits. Earlier this month, we had the opportunity to go to a car show. While we were there, we saw so many cool vehicles. There was a mix of old and new models. Of course, my favorite were the old cars. I just like their designs more. But I have to respect how cool some of the newer cars were. I told Roxanne that she should enter her car into a show like that, and she told me, and I quote, "Basil, the day I let people near my car is the day I clear the back seat of all the junk that's in there." Seriously, that's about all it would take, but the day my back seat is actually safe for the general public is a day that doesn't exist. End quote. So that's a maybe on entering her old vedette into a car show. Recently, we got a fire pit. I didn't expect it to be as nice as it ended up being. I expected us to use it once the first day and then neglect it from that point on. But surprise! We have actually used it nearly every day for the past 2 weeks. With me for this segment is our in-house behavior analyst, Pen.
Whoa! I get a title this time?
Yeah, it makes this whole thing seem a little bit more official, doesn't it?
For sure. It totally does.
Perfect. So, Pen, for me, personally, this fire pit fulfills an ambiance that I've been looking for, and it's allowing me to feel calmer about living where I do. Now, as our behavior analyst, why do you think everyone has responded so well to this fire pit?
Well, take a look at its location. It's right next to the house, on the porch. Basil, it's convenient. Unlike other fire pits that have been out in the sandbox, this pit is close to the house and surrounded by chairs.
Oh, shoot, you're right.
Exactly. Look, everyone enjoys the crackling of the fire, but when it's out where you have to stand to enjoy it, it becomes difficult to allow yourself to enjoy that simple pleasure.
That's a really good analysis, Pen. I think you're right. Comfort and convenience is always a recipe for getting people to enjoy something. I have one last question. When roasting marshmallows, are you a light or dark toast?
I like a medium toast, not too light and not too dark. A nice golden brown all around. Oh, and a gooey center.
That's perfect. I full-heartedly agree. Well, thank you for your input. Would you like to stay around for our next bit?
What's the next bit?
The crochet project.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Some of you may know that I know how to crochet. It's not my most favorite thing to do, but it's a really nice skill to have under my belt as the need will pop up from time to time.
I really like your most recent need for the skill.
I bet you do.
Can I show them off?
Sure. Go ahead.
Basil made a me out of yarn. She did everything, from my horns to the shoulder pads and even my gloves. She thinks it's hers, and it totally is, but I like to steal it and play with it all the time. It's a tiny me.
I'm glad someone plays with it. I'd hate for it to gather dust.
Show them the others that you're working on.
Thank you for the invitation. Yes, I decided that I'd have the lofty goal of making a doll for each of my characters, and that will take quite a long time. But I've started my next 2 dolls based on the yarn that I have available.
Look, that's Roxy. Isn't that awesome?
Thanks, Ben. I think it's turning out pretty good, and it's been quite a fun problem-solving exercise because obviously I have to make it up as I go because there's no pattern.
Have you seen what I've been working on?
No, I haven't. Show me.
It's Paul.
Very impressive, Ben. You're quite a little yarn artist, aren't you?
Thanks. It took me a long time.
I'm sure it did.
I'm gonna go show Paul.
Yeah, you'd better do that. Well, I guess that means it's time for a new story. Seeing as it's summer, swimming was bound to happen. I myself am not big into swimming. I don't like the chemicals in pools, and the fresh water in canals and lakes it's just too cold. On the other hand, however, we have Penn and Harper, who love to swim, Brew, who needs to be able to cool off during the summer, or else he gets heat exhaustion real easily, and Roxanne, who loves to sit poolside and sunbathe before jumping in to join the others. I sit back and draw. I sit way back so the splashing doesn't hit my sketchbooks. There have been a couple of close calls. Bruin is really sweet about playing with the kids. He'll pick them up and toss them back into the water, and they'll get such a kick out of it. He'll sometimes let them toss diving toys into different parts of the pool and race to see who can grab them first. Other times he just floats on his back. The last time we went swimming, Brew taught Penn and Harper to float on their backs. The three spent the rest of the time relaxing and floating. As much as two children can. Eventually, Harper and Penn began to make up their own games, and finally left Brew alone to float. Swim day is always super relaxing, and with such a chill mood. So chill that even Sham cuts back on his usual squawking. Sometimes he even falls asleep, which makes for a very easy-peasy, enjoyable time for me. That's about all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us and reminiscing about the past couple of weeks. Have you done anything interesting since our last Summer Story Station video? If so, let me know in the comments. I'll keep my eye out for some fun new stories for next time, and until then, have a great summer.